What's up, everybody? And on today's Unbiased Heart Take, got a good episode for you guys. Kind of a slow period in sports right now. We just passed our first Sunday without football. NBA All-Star Game is over, and we're just college basketball is going on. That's going on strong and whatnot, but kind of a pause right now from what we're used to. A lot of NFL action that's died for the year now. NBA is off to a pause, so I thought it'd be a good time to our lineup today is break down what I think the Packers need to do to take that next step. 2 playoff appearances in a row under Jordan Love, 1 playoff win, but what do the Packers need to do to take that next step and improve this offseason? I'm going to break that down with the free agents and whatnot. Also, we're going to talk about NBA All-Star Game today, react to that. Then we got a little bit of college basketball on the lineup for you guys today. So, with that, we're going to jump right on in, and we're actually going to start with the Packers again, like I stated. And the Packers currently have the free agencies of center Josh Myers, defensive lineman TJ Slayton, kicker Brandon McManus, linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, cornerback Eric Stokes, linebacker Eric Wilson, defensive back Corey Ballantyne, tight end Tyler Davis, running back A.J. Dillon, left tackle Andre Dillard, and quarterback Robert Rochell. So really, out of all those people, there's only 2 people I think the Packers need to re-sign. Everyone else would be a luxury. And that's Brandon McManus, because he only missed 1 kick with the Packers this past season. He really stabilized the Packers' kicking position for the first time since Mason Crosby, who recently retired. So he's a must bring back. He won many games for us last year, got a nice Lambeau leap on a game-winning field goal attempt. So he's a must re-sign. That's 100% a fact. And Corey Ballantyne, I think, is another one we must re-sign, because we'll get into the cornerback situation here in a little bit. But currently with the Packers, cornerback's a screaming need. So the Packers need to bring back Corey Ballantyne again. We'll break that down here in a little bit. But really, those are the only 2. Josh Myers is a nice plug and play, but Morgan, the rookie that didn't play last year, could slide in there if he's healthy. Our first-round pick from last season. And, DJ Slayton's a nice run defender, but I wouldn't say he's a must-sign. Isaiah McDuffie, same thing, not a must-sign. Decent player. Eric Stokes was finally healthy this season, but really did not make much of an impact. And it was obvious with Jeff Hafley's defense, he was not preferred in that system, so expect a parting ways with that. And then Eric Wilson, he might be a special teams player. Tyler Davis, we already have Musgrave and Tucker Kraft at tight end, so we're not going to bring him back unless it's for special teams. Again, A.J. Dillon, we have running backs out the yin-yang with Josh Jacobs, Eric Wilson. Brooks looked good at times last year, and again, Marshawn Lloyd, the rookie who didn't play much last year for injury reasons also. So the Packers have a loaded running back room, and it's kind of sad to see A.J. Dillon go out this way, because they've really pushed him out the door, and it's really obvious. So I wish him the best of luck wherever his NFL future may be. Hopefully he can get back onto the field this year and make a contribution for another team. But I look for his days in Green Bay to be over. And then, of course, Andre Dillard, more of a backup tackle. And then Robert Rochell, also a backup level player. So really, like I said, the Packers are sort of lucky this season. We don't have any quarterback drama. Thank God. Seen enough of that with Aaron Rodgers. That's no longer even the Jets' problem. Even they don't want him anymore. So anyways, back to the topic. Jordan Love has his well-deserved contract, 2 playoff appearances in a row. We have a great running back, decent receivers. So the Packers really don't have a lot of drama, no big names in free agency. But again, I think McManus and Ballantyne are 2 guys we have to bring back, in my opinion. Again, maybe bring back a TJ Slayton or a McDuffie or Eric Wilson for special teams, things of that nature. But again, the only 2 main ones I think are McManus and Ballantyne. And the Packers' biggest need, number 1, is obviously cornerback. And I say that because Jair Alexander refused to speak to the media when the Packers were packing up shop for the season. And Brian Gutekunst actually acknowledged it, that he's frustrated. The team's been frustrated with his lack of inability to play through injuries and show a little bit of leadership and toughness. And, of course, the Panthers' distraction from a year ago. Is he worth the distraction? Is he worth the money? Is he really worth it at this point when he's only giving you... Yeah, he's decent when he's out there. He's good when he's out there, but he's only out there half the season, if that. So the Packers really have to look at that, and does he really want to be there? Because, again, he seemed frustrated, refused to speak to the media after the season. So that's not a good sign. And with Eric Stokes being a free agent, again, Valentine's not necessarily guaranteed to come back. Again, he is a free agent. The Packers currently at corner, I have it right here, guys. I mean, we're looking at Keyshawn Nixon. I know Bullard played a little bit of a nickel in the slot there for us. But, I mean, we're really just looking at Keyshawn Nixon and, I mean, Jair Alexander. Again, Eric Stokes is a free agent. So the Packers really need a lot of cornerback help. That was really an issue we needed to address last year, and we seem to do a pretty good job at patchwork with that. A lot of that, I think, helps with having X back there in the secondary, and the Packers also have a really just good safety room in general, with Evan Williams as well, and Bullard, who can play multiple positions, like I've said. So the Packers really need to address the cornerback situation and stabilize that. That is the number one need, whether that's in free agency or whether that's in the draft. Packers do have 8 selections this year, which is down from last season. But then the second biggest need, in my opinion, is also pass rush. In today's NFL, you have to win. There's two things you got to have: good quarterback play and a good pass rush. Those are your 2 biggest priorities. Because if you can't get to the quarterback down, if you give Mahomes all day, Joe Burrow all day, Jalen Hurts all day, these level quarterbacks all day to throw, they're going to tear you apart. So for the Packers to only have the sack leader, Rashawn Gary, who made a Pro Bowl, which was nice, but I mean, definitely wasn't performance-based in my opinion. 7.5 sacks. Sort of disappointing to see him in that new Jeff Hafley defense. The Packers defense really improved. Forced a lot of turnovers last year. I thought he would be more of a contributor there. So that was a bit of a disappointment. Again, he's not a bad pass rusher by any means. I just don't know if he's a number 1 pass rusher. He might be more of a number 2. And then you're looking at Lucas Van Ness, who didn't really take that second-year jump, only 3 sacks, and then Wyatt had 5 sacks. But you don't want your defensive tackle to be second in the team in sacks, and he was. That's just not a good look. The Packers have to address the pass rush. Preston Smith is long gone. Again, the Packers got to address that pass rush. And then number 3 is the offensive line. Yeah, I understand we don't only have a glaring need there. We have a couple players entering contract years, but you always need to build an offensive line. You can never have too many offensive linemen. Like Jim Harbaugh for the Chargers says, offensive linemen are weapons too. You got to be able to protect your quarterback. That's why Philadelphia won the Super Bowl this year with a quarterback who didn't even have 3,500 yards. How'd that happen? Well, it's because, well, number 1, Saquon Barkley doesn't hurt, but that offensive line, who was blocking for Saquon Barkley all year long, who was protecting Jalen Hurts on these read options and on the tush push, who's blocking? The offensive line. That's what makes it so effective at the end of the day. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts can get all the credit, but really it's the offensive line. And Hurts and Barkley deserve that credit. But we all know football's won in the trenches. So the Packers need to address the offensive line. That's always something you can build on. So that's really what the Packers need to do. A lot of people would say receiver. I've seen a lot of that. That was actually a talk where Josh Jacobs kind of said that, and I don't like that. Kind of throwing the guys you have under the bus, and the guys we have are pretty good. I mean, Jaden Reed, who had over 1,000 total yards, I count. People say, oh, he didn't even have 800 receiving yards. I count everything. It's about being a football player. Receiving yards, rushing yards. He's also a returner, so I can attribute all yards from scrimmage. And he had over 1,000 for a second year in a row. Go do the math yourself. It's there. So I think he can be a number 1 receiver in the NFL. I absolutely love Jaden Reed. He's like a Deebo Samuel type of player, in my opinion. Just a football player. He returns kicks. He can get the ball on the end around. You can get him in space, and he can take off. He's a speedster, and he's a good route. He's a good receiver as well, and he can run the ball when you give it to him on the handoff as well. And with Romeo Doubs as well, he's actually probably the most physical receiver we have, and probably the best in the red zone, obviously. Dontavian Wicks has been a good receiver as well. And Christian Watson had that gruesome injury. His status is kind of up in the air currently. So we'll see what happens with Christian Watson. Hopefully he can be ready at some point in the season. But even if he's not, okay, maybe bring a guy in, but I don't consider it maybe a necessarily need. I mean, we got Jaden Reed, like I said. 3 receivers and 2 really good tight ends with Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, who came back from that at the end of the year last year. So he'll come back this season, hopefully fully healthy, ready to go. Running back room is absolutely stacked, like I talked about. This Packers team's ready to go. We have a couple areas we need to address, like I've said. But beyond that, if the Packers can address those issues, I look for them to truly be a Lombardi contender. Because, again, youngest team in football and make the playoffs the last 2 seasons and go from 9 wins to 11 wins, that's what you want to see. Hopefully next year we can get a home playoff game and bring it back to Lambeau and win the division. That's what I'm looking for. So That's how the Packers can become Super Bowl contenders next year. And we're going to move on to the NBA All-Star Game because I've come to a conclusion that you can't make everybody happy. It can never happen. Because there's already new ideas, and Joker said they need to make it USA versus international, USA versus international All-Star format. I've seen one-on-one talks for like a big prize money for the winner. I actually liked the All-Star Game this year. I posted on our Facebook page again. That will be in the link in the description down below. Please go like. A lot of good content there from me and JB. So, back to the All-Star Game. I actually enjoyed this format. Now, I do agree there are some things we can clean up, but I'm going to start with the positive first. I'm a positive guy. So, I actually thought the quality of play was much better. You actually had multiple defensive plays. Wemby had multiple blocks. I mean, you've seen much more effort. It actually looked like a basketball game rather than just them lollygagging, kind of half-assing it down the court. That wasn't the case. So, when it comes to the All-Star Game, you're never going to make everybody happy. Kevin Durant is already crying, saying, oh, we need to just give the players an extra break and not have the All-Star Game at all. What, so more load management? Yeah, that's what we need in the NBA. No. I think the NBA format right now is good. What you need to do is get the All-Star players back into the dunk contest. Max McClung is a three-peat. He saved the dunk contest this year. Had he not been there, it'd been garbage. Every other dunk contest person was garbage. Castle had a couple nice ones as well. I mean, I covered that a little bit on Facebook also. A couple nice. He's more of the in-game dunker, like I talked about on my short. But ultimately, McClung saved this dunk contest. Without him, it would have been a joke. He's a G League player. 3 times in a row he's won the dunk contest. First time that's ever happened was a sports fact today. So, looking at it, they just need to get the All-Stars back into it. I mean, Giannis kind of hinted at they could do it. The All-Stars could sort of bring that back. But that's how you save it. The three-point contest was absolutely outstanding. That was down to the wire with Hero winning. I thought the All-Star Game format was better this year. Shaq's OGs, they were all relatively close games. Even the Rising Stars showed a little bit of tough fight against the OG Shaqs, who ended up winning the All-Star Game with Steph Curry as MVP. You had nice dunks. It wasn't just a three-point contest. Steph hit a half-court shot. You had good defense. I thought it was great. But, of course, it's the internet. You're never going to make everybody happy. I'm interested to see what the ratings are. I'm not sure if that's quite out yet. It's only the day after as of this recording. So we'll kind of see about that. But ultimately, I give this All-Star Game an A. So much better than last year's flop in Indy where there was like close to 400 points. That's not basketball. That's playing in your backyard with your buddy. That's all that is. That's just shooting around, no defense. This year, it was just better basketball. And that's just all I'm saying. People are going to complain about the tournament format. Now, we're going to get to the negatives a little bit here, because I'm not all just sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies. There were some issues. And some of the issues I seen was Kevin Hart. We don't need the commentary. It's annoying, corny jokes. We don't need that crap. And then also sort of just, it was really cool seeing that fan hit that shot also. That was awesome. But a lot of breaks in between. Players mentioned that. We want to see basketball. We're not here to see a hip-hop concert or whatever. We want to see basketball. So that was the one thing I would agree on. They need to kind of less breaks in there, more basketball. That's what we want to see. Maybe make it into one night instead of making it a Thursday and making it 2 events. Maybe make the 3-point contest and dunk contest, All-Star Game, all one night, the day, and then day before, maybe do something along at the Rising Star, stuff like that, celebrity game. So I think maybe combine it to one night, less of the rap crap and all that breaks and all this other crap. We're not here to see that. We want to see basketball. So that was one of the things I think they could have improved on. So again, All-Star Game, I thought it was good this year. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below of the All-Star Game this year. And then speaking of basketball, we have some college basketball to talk about here. And the AP polls just came out, and Auburn's obviously the number 1 team in the nation this year. They just beat Alabama, and Alabama did not lead one time in that game. And Alabama's one of the best teams in the nation also. So Auburn's number 1. They actually had 6 weeks in a row for them being number 1, which is the longest since the 2014 Kentucky Wildcats team. So Auburn's obviously the number 1 betting favorite to win the national title. But you also have Alabama in there who dropped down to number 4. They're a really good team. The Gators the Florida Gators have 18 double-digit wins, so they're just tearing people apart and blowing them out of the building. Duke has Cooper Flack, who has nearly 500 points, 100 assists, 30 blocks. He's an absolute baller. I can't wait to see what he does in the NBA. He's going to be good for the NBA. So then, of course, you have the number 13 Purdue coming off last year. They did lose 2 games recently to ranked teams where Kaufman had really good games. Braden Smith played well. They just got to be better situationally. They're going to be fine. Michigan State and Kentucky are also in the top 20 also. Tom Izzo with most wins in the Big Ten ever in Big Ten play, passing Bobby Knight recently. So they'll always be in it so long as those programs are around. So I'm interested to see where college basketball, we're getting ready to get to tournament time. We've already seen commercials for it. So I'm really excited what is going on in the college basketball world. Me and JB will be doing live streams when that comes around. We are very excited for that and more basketball live streams to come. Again, that's all I got for today's Unbiased Hard Take. Again, hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Like us on Facebook, Sports Fact Today, follow on Spotify, all that good stuff. Links to all that will be in the description down below. We really appreciate you guys and just the support we've had over these almost 2 years now. So, again, that's all I got. Until next time, go Pack, go. Most importantly this time of year, let's go Heat. Dig us out of that 9 seed. Ooh boy. And boiler up, baby. Top 25 team. We're coming.